All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. All
Shawn.
right, that's the level of energy we're looking for. 2 weeks ago, when we were here last, Kirsten Switzer, who's the director of the Renton Downtown Partnership, who is hosting this entire thing, came in and shared with you that your mayor shared at the state of the city, which is Renton's version of the State of the Union address, where your mayor is talking about public safety and transportation and affordable housing. And this group and what we're doing got a mention. And I don't think there was near enough excitement. So we're going to build a little bit of that into the 2 hours we spent together tonight. Before I get to that, we are going to introduce a team, much like Cameron alluded to, that is at your disposal to help your business and your business growth. Jenna Estep is the Economic Development Director for the City of Renton, and she is going to say a few words and introduce her team. Jenna?
Thank you. Well, good evening to all of you future Renton business owners.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jenna Estep, and I'm the Economic Development Director for the city. And before I go any further, I want to call the team up because we at the city, we firmly believe team is the core element of success. I like to say team stands for together, everyone achieves more. So team, come on up. Hey, you can see we have quite an economic development team. So in a bit, you're going to get to meet everyone. But before we go there, we wanted to just congratulate all of you for taking the initiative to participate in this amazing competition. I always feel small business owners have two things in common. They have initiative, they get out there, they are self-starters, but they also have grit. And it takes that to get out there on your own, start a business, and then even try to grow a business. So kudos to you guys for doing that. Okay, a little bit about Renton. Renton is on the forefront of opportunity for, I believe, the region. I'm sure many of you have heard that the Seattle Sounders have decided to build their headquarters in Renton. I'm sure you've heard that Alaska Airlines is expanding their footprint in Renton. We are going to also be hosting the headquarters of Blue Origin Aerospace Company, I'm sure you've all heard of. And Children's Hospital is on their way also. So how does that all relate to you guys? Well, those are large employers, and all of those employers are going to bring foot traffic and clients to you as a small business. So this is all part of what is exciting about choosing Renton as your place to locate your business. So let's talk about that. These big employers bringing people, they're going to bring people to our downtown, right? One thing that I've learned, because I'm still new in Renton, actually as an employee, is the amount of initiative this team has taken to bring that success to you. And one of the areas that I am most proud of with this team is the Civic Core Plan. The Civic Core Plan is a document that was approved, I believe, in 2018, and it is the genesis of basically all the revitalization you see in downtown. It's the genesis for the arts, the street improvements. I believe even the RDP, the Renton Downtown Partnership. So this was the baby that all of this has been born from, okay? When implemented, the downtown Civic Core Plan will ultimately bring over $35 million of investment, public investment to the downtown. That's huge. And that I wanted to share that with you because that's the teammate you have chosen to participate with and join. So without too much more, I did want to mention that as we talked as a team about what we could do to help all of you. We decided to launch a pilot program that we are calling the Small Business Liaison Program. So we've identified a person on our team that is going to act as our small business liaison. This will be your point of contact from start to finish as you start out your business. It's going to be a learning experience for us. But what our goal is to offer you some true support as you go through and navigate the governmental needs of starting a business, whether it's a business license or tenant improvements for a space you want to lease. So that is one of the elements that this competition has brought to the table. So thank you for that. So without any more, I'd like to have the team introduce themselves. We can start right here.
Hi, I'm Stacy Tucker, I'm planning technician, I've been with the city for 19 years.
Hi, guys. Hey, my name's Rob Shuey. I'm the Director of Development Services and the building official for the city of Renton. So anything we do as far as TI improvements or any kind of, changes within buildings that would require a permit, you'll be dealing with myself, and it's fine.
I am Melissa Camphouse, I'm the permit center manager for the city of Renton, I've been here for 3 years. We do have virtual appointments available for anybody, and I've got some handouts on those, so we are here to help you and walk you through the process. I'm Stephanie Berry, Property Services Specialist, and I've been with the city for 27 years.
I'm just new to economic development. We're so excited out.
I know she's smart. I'm Lynn Heimer, I'm the secretary for the economic development team, and as of March 1st, I've been here for 5 years.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Collins. I'm the city development manager, and I've been with the city for about 4 years.
And I'm Fatima Petrone. I've been with the city for 7 months. I'm gonna be your liaison for the city, as Jenna mentioned earlier. I'm very excited to be here with you. My title, show title, is economic development specialist. And we are here to serve you guys. So if you have any questions, any concerns regarding anything, I will be the facilitator between you and the city. And I'll be happy to answer those questions and those concerns. And anything else that I can help you with.
And she needs it too. I'm Jessica Tarsky, and I'm the economic development manager, and I've been with the city 5 years and 9 months. Amanda Free, I'm the economic development assistant director. Been with the city almost 8 years and with the team for a little over 2, and we are excited that you guys are interested in number one, want to have a business, they want to be in Renton. I know Guatemala has postcards. If you haven't grabbed one, we will get them out to everybody. They're cute. They're really cute. And number 2, we have all our contact information, the QR code to our website with a bunch of resources as well. So really thankful that you guys are all here and excited about your futures, and we are here to help.
Okay, well, that's it. And as Amanda just said, feel free to reach out to us, any of us. You'll have Fatimata's contact. You can start with her, and with that, get to any one of us. So we're here for you, and we're happy that you are here. Thank you all.
Is that okay? All right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes. So before I turn this over to Shawn, I just wanted to go over, talk about your next assignment that's going to be due on April 13th. So tonight's attendance is required for you to move forward into the final field of 18. If you attended all required workshops and submitted all of your assignments on time, you are moving forward. I'll let you know that there are only 31 left that are participating in the competition. Some didn't turn in their assignments, some dropped off for other reasons, but you are one of 31. There's going to be a drop-in session next Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. right here. We're going to have the judges here. We're gonna have, I think Shawn is going to be here, maybe not. He has that look in his eye. But we will have people here to help you with your pitch. And if you want to drop in, you will need to sign up, so we know that people, so we have enough people here to assist.
This was here. Okay, yes.
You know where that sheet is? What's that?
They're just will be here?
Yes, because they're gonna go through, they're gonna do a dry run, so they're gonna practice next Tuesday. I'll be here, I think Christian may be here. Were you scheduled to be here?
No.
No, okay.
And I interject something just super
Yes,
fast.
yeah,
For the drop-in, there will not be direct feedback from the judges.
right. That's right. So here's the sheet. If you plan on dropping in, if you could put your name and email address on there. So your PowerPoint, like I said, and your notes are required by the 13th. So after the drop-in session, you will have a couple of days to finalize your PowerPoint and get it turned in by 5 p.m. that Thursday. I have a team of reviewers Friday morning. We're gonna go through all of those based on the criteria. You have a handout for that. And we're going to grade it and let you know by 5 p.m. Friday whether or not you are one of the 18. Remember that it's the total cumulative score, which means your budget plan, your lead canvas, and your PowerPoint. The total of those 3 scores will determine your final score and whether you are moving forward. So like I said, I'll notify you by no later than 5 p.m. on Friday, April 14th. And I guess that's it. Questions? I do have tickets here for those of you that want to either invite.
What did they get with their tickets, Sue?
They get a free drink. Worth $10. So if you want tickets, I'll pass them out. I encourage you to hand them out if you can't not attend. We're trying to fill the theater next on the 18th. So as many as you can get to attend, we would appreciate it. Huh? Probably not. Yes,
Oh, so with the drop-in session, it's basically getting the feel of what's like presented in front of
yes,
the judge.
you'll be able to present and yeah. Yes,
Do you need a ticket if we're presenting and do we need a ticket if we do like the thing?
you don't need to for presenting, but if you're not presenting, you put it up. Yeah, you need to check it. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But do we decide on that vendor? There are 3 groups of the 8 that go through how many in each.
We were working on that yesterday and it is because if I take the top 18 scores, there's a lot in one category that maybe should be shifted. So I wanted to talk to Shawn about that, how we should best proceed, so I'll let him know.
Okay, and then my second question was, what is the criteria that the journalist will be judging in marketing?
The live pitch?
Yeah.
Shawn is gonna talk a little bit about that at the, end of the workshop. Yes.
And notes.
Yeah, so in order to judge your PowerPoint presentation, we're gonna need your notes with some kind of summary of each slide, because if you just have bullet points with a couple of words on there, we're not gonna understand the context of what you're gonna be talking about. So, I can put notes at the bottom of a PowerPoint slide. I mean, it doesn't have to be lengthy, but just so we get a grasp of what you are going to present.
For some people, when they do presentation, they actually have.
Yeah.
Maybe some people don't.
Right, yeah, I always have notes, I don't, yeah, I'm a visual person, so I like to see, even though they look like I'm reading, but. Yeah. Oh, I have a couple that are not attached to the sheet over there. Here. Oh, here's a few. Yes.
I guess I have some questions. So this is for the way things are created, and I think they would have been really transparent, like the training of the teams, and then. Let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yes.
You guys.
Didn't set it up anything. This is the first time we've done it, so, we're all learning ourselves what that's going to be. Things are not perfect, but we put signing this together for like 2 months, because we wanted to do it really fast.
You know where she had those other
So
things?
consider that, we've got a great spot.
Here.
Oh, yep. And if we do it again, I have all these other things to learn, and.
A few more loose if you need them.
Great job.
Yeah. No, it should be over there for that, it's been 6 across the board. And we have a few of those up at the theater, so we don't want to be having to perform yet. Oh, yes.
The possibility of like not having a virtual like society, those are the certain phone calls.
We're really not geared up to do that yet. We haven't thought about anything virtual. You know, next time I think we will, we may even have the workshops virtual. One suggestion that is made to me from Christian, is that when we do this again, if I'm sure we're gonna do this again, that if you apply again, you may not have to go through all the workshops.
So I got the pleasure of seeing a really big version of this. They're in like year 5 of their pitch competition, at conference in Boston. And it's like $270,000. The team for the reason is we keep growing. But the idea is like, we've already been through this. I don't want to go through monthly stuff again. So we're gonna figure out how that works, we're gonna work with us on how we're gonna manage this up, and we're gonna figure it out. What it looks like.
Mario?
You're like the specific criteria for the PowerPoint that are we supposed to know like who we sign up on the page?
Well, it's what, how you want to do it. This is what we're going to judge each presentation. You know, a lot of it is gonna be, if there's spelling errors, grammatical errors, the color, you know, like, so bright that you don't even get to see the text, that kind of thing. If the slides flow very well, and you'll typically tell that, and the student has to note at the bottom, so you can tell what the top.
It don't have to be like word for word.
Yeah,
That's the correct.
yeah.
It needs to be like, I'm gonna talk about my attraction for my product, and here's why. It's just something I'm outlining what you're trying to do.
So I want to turn this back, I'm taking up John's time here, so we're gonna turn it back to.
We're gonna talk about criteria for the slideshow and your pitch. A little bit further into the program, so let's save any individual questions. Let's jump into things tonight. We're gonna start out with a little brainstorming exercise, and this is the 4th of 4 workshops. You guys have already done a lot. And here we are at the end of our workday, and we're staring down the barrel of if we're going to be in the field of 18 or not. I just want to make sure all of our neurons are firing the right way. So we're going to do a fun little exercise that I like to refer to as Skittles. Now, what are the 5 colors you find in a standard bag of Skittles? The answer's up there. Yeah. It's that easy. Red, green, yellow, purple, and orange. All right, now what corresponding flavor is attached to each of those colors? What's red?
Cherry.
Cherry. What's orange? What's orange? What flavor is it there? Yeah, but what flavor is it? Orange. You see what I did there? All right, what's purple?
Great.
Great. What's yellow? What's green? It was lime, and then it went to green apple, and then people didn't like it, and actually went back to lime.
Wow.
In fact, it's lime, like they're putting it on their package, it's lime. So here's what we're gonna do. This, you will need something to write with. This is an individual timed exercise. I want you to reassign a brand new flavor to each of the 5 colors. Now, don't start yet, but who can summarize these instructions for the group? What are we doing? Yes, sir.
We're gonna try not to make green apple mistake, or we're gonna change up the flavor of each color.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're gonna have 60 seconds to do this. Now, why do I ask somebody from the gallery to repeat the instructions? What's the value in that to you? When we're giving instructions, when we are leading something, we tend to default to, are there any questions? And then what do we hear? Crickets, because people don't know what they don't know. Instead, if I'm able to ask someone to repeat the instructions, you get to hear it in someone else's voice. And who in here is a parent? How many times have your kids come home and repeated back to you the exact same wisdom you've been drilling into them for years, but they got to hear it from a coach, a pastor, a teacher, a friend's parent? They heard it in a different voice. So it's like, Mom, Dad, you're never gonna, I totally heard this most awesome thing. And they're like, son of a gun, I've been, right? So by hearing it through someone else's voice, it sticks a little bit better. You guys have been listening to me for 6 weeks now. All right. 5 brand new flavors for each of the colors. It is a 60-second individual exercise. Ready, go. Fifteen seconds. All right, that is time. Pens, pencils, crayons, whatever, down, please. Who is able to come up with 5 brand new flavors that wants to share them in front of everybody? Right here, yes, sir. Hold on. You can talk fast and I can write. Man, come on, take me right here. All right, so you got raspberry. Banana, I'm gonna abbreviate. For orange. Oh, man, that's. Did anyone else in the room make that mistake? Not realize you had to align them to the colors.
It's gorgeous, good.
All right, I'm right back there.
Okay.
Hey, that's fantastic. Lay it on.
Okay. Yeah.
Purple is okay. Help me out in all of my business. Spell that for me.
UVA,
UVE for purple.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a little like a grammatical symbol or no? Okay. Ube. All right. What else?
Green for pandan.
One more time.
PAN.
PANTAN.
Yeah.
Is that right? Pandan?
Yeah.
Stop it. PAN. D. D. All right.
Calamansi for yellow.
What letter does it start with? Okay. All right, what's next?
Mango.
I didn't get that one. For orange? Mango.
Red,
What, okay, one more time.
Presa,
PRE.
and A.
I would have gotten that on my. Probably. All right, fantastic. We've got 5 other flavors. Associated with colors. No, man, I'm not gonna down yet. All right. Alicia, what about you, please?
So top to bottom, strawberry,
Okay, strawberry.
kiwi,
Okay,
orange, I also had mango, yellow, I also had banana. Yeah, I had, or a couple I had plum. I'd like to change it to today though.
one more. Yes, sir.
So I didn't write it in that thing, but red was red apple.
Red apple, okay. Don't take it. Red apple. Okay.
Green is pear.
Pear. Like that. Okay,
Orange
got
is
my
butterscotch.
orange is, yes, it is. Butter, dot, dot, dot.
Yellow is banana.
Yellow is banana.
And then purple is cranberry.
Cranberry, take that. Cranberry abbreviated. Now. How many of you, show of hands, had any flavor that's not listed up here? I like that. How many of you had a flavor that wasn't a fruit? How many of you had a flavor or scent that wasn't a food? A couple more hands up. Here's the point of this exercise. Just like we heard from one of the teams that are at your disposal with Renton's economic development, it pays to listen to more than one voice. That is how we get to our best answer. Is there anybody in this room who feels that if we were to have everyone list all their different flavors and fragrances and everything else, could any one person replicate the entirety of that list that the room put together in its entirety? Probably not. There is value in seeking other opinions. I will be the very first to share that I don't have the answer to everything. And my answer to your marketing question might be answered differently by somebody else. And I encourage you to seek out that somebody else so that you can get to what is ultimately going to be the best answer for you and for your business. I'm a smart cat. I am. I know some stuff about some stuff, but I do not know everything. And so I encourage you, the chamber, the Renton Downtown Partnership, Renton's Economic Development, the other mentors. Do we still have one of them here? Lachlan, he's out there talking. There's a lot of resources at your disposal, and that's just in the city of Renton. We haven't even talked about Washington State Small Business Liaison Team. We haven't gotten super deep into the network of Small Business Development Center advisors. And that's just the state resources, not the national ones. And I promise you, everybody who you've heard from tonight, they're good people, they are. They're not gonna reach out to you and check in and say, hey, do you need any help? You've got to reach out to them. They are at your disposal. They will happily help. They will move mountains if mountains can be moved, but you've got to be the one to reach out. It's starting to get sticky. This is the part where things begin to get challenging. Up until now, this is the easy stuff. Show up at the library, learn some stuff, listen to this charismatic guy, talk about a bunch of stuff that I didn't already know about, some of the stuff I did. This is the easy part. Understanding who your customers are, filing your taxes, getting your website developed. The complicated stuff still comes. Seek out that level of help. It's there, I promise you, but you gotta ask. All right, let's start transitioning into things. Let's turn this upside down. All right. We've talked about one side Spark and the whole need for a map and waypoints and all that stuff. Here are some customer channels from which you can choose. You can read fast and I can talk, even on my best day, so I'm gonna let you guys review this slide real quick. What jumps off of this slide as, yep, that's a definite match, or I didn't expect to see that up there? Is there anything unique about anything you see on this slide? I'll take random answers.
Windshield wiper.
Okay, so what I meant by that was placing flyers under windshield wipers. Not, yeah, I know, I get it. Have we talked about that in, okay, all right, if you want to advance attention, 15 straight seconds, that's where you're going. All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
The Euros, talking, and then we can explain it, we're on 6.
Yes, but I know that they still have those static ads and links.
Do you think anybody reads newspapers anymore?
Online or in print.
There, yeah, I was thinking in print.
Okay, so here's one of my top 2 most common answers for every small business question. It depends. So let's talk about what it depends on. Who your customers are. Statistically, we want to be able to describe our customer segment or segments. You can have more than one. If they're distinct, you want to describe them separately. But we want to understand what they look like, who they are. For a couple reasons. One, when we know what they look like, we can recognize them and we know where to find them. And I want to share with you that we, as marketers, as entrepreneurs, if we get too wrapped up in managing the fruit on the tree, we're going to go broke fast. We manage the tree, not the fruit on the tree. Who wants to take a stab at what I might mean by that?
If you let your tree die, you don't need to have it.
Okay. So that's kind of a bottom up answer. What's a top down answer? Emphasizing the fruit, not the tree itself. Yes, sir.
Don't micromanage.
Don't micromanage, exactly. If we water the entirety of the tree, we don't miss down every apple. But way too often, I watch entrepreneurs out there with a little spray bottle on this huge, massive fruit tree, looking at each piece of fruit. We have to manage the entirety of the tree. And what I mean by that is, you will not hit 100% of who you feel your customers are. There are going to be some, because they're outliers and they're not on the channels that the rest of the customer segment is, because they share a slightly different demographic identifier, whatever the reason. So we can't get wrapped up in reaching all 100% of who we think our customers are. We want to reach the 80 that are within easy reach. The same way that Nike sells shoes to shoe collectors, but they don't market to shoe collectors. They market to their main customer segment, the everyday athlete. That's who they're going to spend, or where they're going to spend their marketing acumen, time, creativity, dollars. And if a shoe collector still wants to buy a pair of Nike shoes, they're going to say, yeah, we'll take your money, but we're not going to make the effort to market to you. Because that's a whole other customer segment, and it's such a small part of Nike's overall revenue, it's not worth it. So understand where you are going to derive your revenue and profit and focus on that 80%. You want to capture 80% of your customer segment. And if you get 85, great. And if you only get 75, that works too. But we endeavor to kind of aim for that 80. So demographics, I won't get there yet. Statistically, what they look like, and that's everything from age range and gender and marital status and the type of music they listen to, and if they're college graduates or not, homeowners, pet owners, everything. Not because we necessarily want to market to pet owners, but when we start seeing correlation, that is our customer segment, we're not marketing to country music lovers. However, most of our customer segment happens to listen to country music. So what radio station are we going to choose? Not KZOK, probably whatever the country music station is. It's still 104.9 The Wolf.
It's 100.7.
100.7, okay. So we want to understand that level of correlation so that we can find the right channel. Way too often I'm seeing entrepreneurs, I'm going to advertise over here, and I'm going to market on this, I'm going to pay for this, and I'm going to do that. And I measure some level of success. So I'm just going to throw all that time, effort, energy, and money into the exact same channels all over again and hope I get something similar without any real feedback on which ones were effective and which ones weren't. Right? The next thing you want to understand is psychographics. That is, how does your customer segment make their decisions? What is it that triggers them into thinking, oh man, you know what I need? Need some apple cider. You know what I need? I need some lawn mowing. You know what I need? I need a spa day. You know what I need? So what is it that they're thinking, feeling, experiencing? What time of day, what day of the week is it? Where we're most likely to capture them when they're most likely to be like, oh, now that you mention it, I should be thinking about it. So again, I know there's a lot of parents in here. If you've ever had middle schoolers, depending on how old your kids are, and you're at the dentist, they get their 6-month checkup, their cleaning done, and you're on your way out, and you're like, oh, geez, as long as we're here, we may as well schedule the next 6-month cleaning. Now take that exact same parent, fast forward to Friday night, they're watching Netflix, they bite down on an unpopped popcorn kernel, and something goes massively wrong, and it is there, my kingdom for a horse kind of moment. I'm not gonna make it to Monday, I need an after-hours dentist. In each of those situations, what service is that parent seeking? The same answer for both. A dentist. But in the second one, the level of urgency, how far they're willing to drive, how much they're willing to pay. All of that is now different based on the circumstances. What circumstances do your customer segments experience when they're most likely to be thinking about, yep, now that I've heard it on the radio, now that I see it on social media, now that I see it in skywriting over Lake Washington, yep, this is what I need. So how and when is as important as the actual messaging itself. We don't make profit on our unique value proposition. It's a starting point in our messaging. And once we identify who our customer segment is, then we can start choosing what the right channel we're going to do. I saw a lot of, on your lean canvases, channels, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, all social media, and you're going to find an entirely different user demographic on each platform. Which of those is most appropriate for you, your business, your customer segment? That's what we want to identify. And we're going to spend a little bit of time on this because this is what everything is rooted in. Who you do it for. So let's look at some of the demographics we want to describe our customer segments with. Age, gender, ethnicity, marital status, income level, home ownership, education level, all the way over to these other things. And again, this is part of that correlation where if you can find, okay, my customer segment is both male and female, but they're in this age range and they're homeowners and they have 2.5 kids. That's who we're looking for. But in Renton, we tend to find them driving Toyotas and Hondas. And in Renton, we tend to find them listening to the 80s, 90s stations, like 106.1. In Renton, we tend to find them doing these types of activities. And when we know that, now we can better target our marketing, our messaging, and our branding so that we can find them. Okay. So if, let's just say we're looking at age, right? Maybe you want retirees, maybe you want income earners, maybe you want someone who's a little bit younger, but let's look at the income earners. Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, and believe it or not, they have a name for the next generation. They're only 8 years old, but that's Generation Alpha. But amongst the wage earners, between the ages of 23 and 62, there are 4 different labeled generations present, from baby boomers, down through Gen X, through millennials, and these here are Gen Z. Each of them has a slightly different thought process and cognitive decision making and different set of values. So if you're trying to find wage earners between the ages of 23 and 62, and you have the exact same message, there are going to be some that won't listen to it because you're not paying attention to that demographic. And here's the mistake I made. And spoiler alert, I made it more than once. When I cut my teeth in entrepreneurship as a financial advisor, I made the mistake of thinking that everyone was going to make decisions like I did. So I marketed based on what I would respond to. And I didn't make that mistake once. I made that mistake for months and months and months on end. And it cost me Because I wasn't paying attention to who my customer segment really was. I just figured everyone made decisions the way I did. So we can't be our own customer. In the sense that we don't assume that we are our customer segment and we market to ourselves. We're gonna miss way too many people. Too much opportunity. All right, so let's look at psychographics, and they cover things like values, attitudes, and personal traits, and really how people make their decisions. So think about, and no one in here would do this, and I think I touched on this at the end of workshop 1. Imagine watching TV for 24 hours straight and the different types of commercials you see at different times of day. Imagine watching daytime TV, 10 a.m. through 3 p.m. Nobody should do that. But what types of commercials do you see? Vocational schools, personal injury attorneys, because that's who's watching TV at that time. Then you work your way into 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, the news hour. You got the afternoon talk shows, you got the news, you got some reruns and syndication, and you got things like home products, and then you get into prime time, and it's big ticket items because that's where most people are glued to their TV because now they're finally home. And it's those big spenders that are now watching TV once the kids got their homework done. And especially on Thursdays, because this is when we're making our decision for the weekend. What car dealership are we going to visit? What vacation package are we going to consider? What furniture are we going to buy for the patio? These big ticket decisions are usually made for the weekend on Thursday. That's why Thursday prime time usually has, back in the day when there was cable TV and you couldn't binge watch everything. That's why Thursday was such a big deal. And then late night TV is this late night TV stuff, right? But that transition of different types of products and services being advertised is because they know where their customer segment is and where they're not. And we have to understand that as well. So let's look at some different purchasing traits that your customer segment might exhibit. From buyer's remorse to urgency, how much confidence they need, and then finally ease of influence. This is the impulse buy. The stuff that you have at the checkout stand at the grocery store, that stuff is there versus other products for a reason. Those are the easy purchases that don't require a whole lot of thought. Magazines and packs of gum and stuff that your kids want. The complicated stuff that you really have to think about and read the label and consider and do a little bit of research. None of that stuff is at the checkout. It's all the stuff that qualifies as an impulse buy. And that has to do a lot with our buying behavior and what the psychographics of that supermarket's or that store's customer segment is. What you find at the checkout line in Home Depot is different than what you find at a grocery store. Their customer segment is a little bit different. Let's consider this question. Who sleeps on mattresses, men or women?
Everyone.
All of them, not a trick question. Who do mattress manufacturers market to predominantly, men or women? Women. Why? One more time?
They buy mattresses.
They do. Okay, as a single woman, compared to a single man, first of all, as a single guy, we'll sleep anywhere. Okay, we'll sleep on a buddy's floor, we'll sleep on a beanbag chair, we'll sleep on a futon, we'll sleep propped up in the corner. But a single woman sees a mattress as an investment, a good night's sleep, to start her workday refreshed and to advance her career. And that's the type of thought process that a single woman has over a single man. Now let's look at the couple. Let's look at the unit. Who's driving that type of purchase decision in the family unit, the woman or the man? The woman. It's the woman, and any man who said, I think the man does it, he looked over at his wife to make sure he had permission to say that. The woman is driving that level and that type of purchasing decision, and mattress manufacturers know that. They know who to advertise to. Okay, that's a little bit on elevator speak. So let's talk about demographics and psychographics. We covered a lot in a short period of time, so I'm going to open it up to some questions about identifying your customer segment and what they look like and why that's important. Is there anything I can go back to, answer, clarify, or review for anyone about customer segments or channels? Let's do customer segments first. Yes, ma'am.
No. It's not easy to find everything that you say. He's not in the news, he's not in the library. So where do you find that? You have to answer that question.
So what is your first name?
Media.
Marion? Okay, so Marion asked an awesome question. Great, Sean, you dropped all this knowledge on us. Now where do we go and find it?
YouTube.
Is it just gonna fall, is it published somewhere? Is it just gonna fall out of the sky for us? Yes, ma'am?
Facebook has a lot of that. They'll tell you. Yeah. You know, what the demographics are and it's different.
So okay, so from one end, you can look up the user demographic, 4 different channels. Okay, what about starting with customer segment, which I think is where Marion's question is rooted? How do we find information on our customer segment? Yes, ma'am.
Well, when I was looking for the age and the gender and pretty much about renting, I asked the library and they printed out a whole thing for me that shows everything that's on.
We are sitting in right now, no lie, one of your greatest resources that goes unused. Your local library, this library right here has got a spattering of databases and publications specific to small business. Start here. Yes, sir.
Is there any point where it's like, I have to get out from behind my computer, talk to throughout the fellowship? While you're doing this,
Okay, excellent question. It depends. And here's what it depends on. It's an awesome question, and I'm glad you asked. It depends on who your customer segment is and what that purchasing experience is going to be like. So let's compare Toyota and Porsche. You're looking for a car. Now, for all the differences between those two vehicles, let's say a Porsche 911 and a Toyota Camry, all right? Distinctly different vehicles, but way more commonalities than actual differences. Doors and trunklet and engine, and windshield wipers and 4 tires and all the different moving parts, more similarities than differences. However, distinct enough that it's answering a completely different question. Remember, problem, solution, fit for a very distinct customer set. So let's skip past midlife crises and everything else. Let's imagine we're walking onto a Toyota dealership and there's 200 models and there's 12 salespeople, 3 of which rush up to you and say, hey, when you find a color you like, write me down, here's my card, and off they go. Compare that to walking into a Porsche showroom. 12 cars, 4 salespeople, one of whom will be attached at your hip for the entirety of the process. And it's not about trunk space and fuel economy and cost of ownership. It's about how good you're going to look in this car, just how life-changing this is going to be for you. I know very few Toyota Camrys that were ever life-changing to everybody. Now, did you pick up on the slight change in vernacular? That is, you walk onto a Toyota dealership, but you walk into a Porsche showroom. That purchasing experience is different. What is the purchasing experience? Never mind what you are providing. What from the lens of your customer, what is their purchasing experience? Do they just have to read about it on the internet? Are you competing on price where you're not really distinct from any of your competitors, but you're the lowest cost and they can find you online and through a couple of clicks, you throw 15 something or whatever's into a box and off they go? Or does it require more personal selling? Does it require a brick and mortar location? Does it require a showroom? Does it require a staff? Does it require a trained salesperson to walk them through how this is going to be of importance and impact to them? What's that going to be like? Yes, sir.
You may know the answer to this question, but how do you decipher who I think is mine and versus who truly is mine?
That's an awesome question. I appreciate that. Now, how do we decide who our demographic or demographics or customer segments plural actually are when we thought it was one thing and then come to find out here's a totally different description of people who are buying and using. What is, darn it. There was a household product, I swear to goodness, I forget the name. They sold it in Africa. It was something like tuna fish. It was some household product. It wasn't food, but I'm thinking of the tuna fish can. And they were just selling like crazy. And they thought, oh, they really liked the product. They didn't. They liked what it was packaged in. They took the product, threw it away, used the container. And so you have to pay attention to how and why people are using what you're selling. Now, we can measure that in a couple different ways. And sometimes who asked the question about how often do I have to get out and actually talk to my customers? Okay, so that might be, if you're a food service business, that direct contact might be a really big deal. If you're selling high-end cars or something that's expensive, like computer parts or luxury vacation packages, that one-on-one interaction is probably going to be pretty crucial. If you're selling some sort of Walmart product, and that is you're competing on price and everybody makes it, probably a little bit less, and you can gain that information through product surveys, through promotional codes and having them fill something out online. So each of your marketing campaigns that use different channels should have a promotional code. That is, when they use your app, when they visit your website, when they come into your store, you should be able to record how they heard about it. The original promotional code was, hey, this Memorial Day weekend, and you visit Toyota Motors down in Renton, tell them your favorite DJ sent you. That was the original promotional code. So that the dealership knew, okay, advertising on this station worked because we got X number of people out of Y number of people coming and say that to claim their free hot dog, whatever it was. Anyone ever, first time I visited Boise, it was Labor Day weekend, like 2019, the most Idaho thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life. Come down into this car dealership, buy a truck, get a free gun. Yep, the most Idaho thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life. That was my introduction to Boise. All right, excellent questions. We want to be able to record real data from our sales, which means some of it is going to come from our point of sale software. We're going to be able to track, we had X number of sales today for X number of dollars in revenue and Y number of whatever else. But getting some sort of documented data that says these are the types of people who are buying our stuff, and you're not going to get 100% response rate. But if you've got those, remember if you've got like electronics or if you've got appliances and you get that little card and you register your product, that's getting feedback, and they're probably going to get a 4 to 6% response rate. But they're going to take that and multiply it by 25 and assume that they're somewhere in the ballpark. Having some level of data, even if it's a little bit off, is way better than having zero data at all. And I encourage you from the very beginning, start recording who you're selling to and in what quantities. And one of the main things you have to be able to record is who's willing to spend more. That is, when you're starting to have different marketing strategies or promotions, and the way that you can try different price points is just offer some level of promotion. So you toy with this new promotion, and gosh darn, where was I going with that? All right, I'm gonna come back to it. I promise it'll come back. Mary, you had your hand up. Let me answer the question.
Question, could you possibly visit either online or in person your competitors and then see which demographic? Is it the ones you're picking up, or is it the ones that you don't have? To see which demographic are actually.
All right, so what Mary is asking is to do a competitive analysis. And that is, let's say we've got an auto parts store, and we're gonna open up our auto parts store, and there's not another one like it in theory, but if we go visit the other auto parts stores, we're gonna see what times of day they're busiest, what kinds of products they sell, what kind of services they offer, what kinds of people are going in, what their general price points are. Yes, you can do that. Now, it's not going to be 100% of what you need, because if you're a little bit different, then that's one of the variables in this very complex and dynamic entrepreneurial process, where when one variable changes, it affects everything else. You can't change your marketing budget up or down and leave everything else the same. You can't hire or eliminate 2 staff people and change nothing else and expect everything to remain the same. So every variable you change is gonna touch 5 other variables, and then those variables ultimately are gonna impact everything. So we have to be able to pay attention when we make these small incremental changes. All what is it affecting?
Bottom dollar,
What's that?
my bottom dollar. No,
Well, bottom dollar is absolutely important because we pay our lease payment not on number of customers, but on profit. We pay ourselves not on units sold, but on profit. So absolutely, that is our first and chief KPI, key performance indicator. That is absolutely what's going to keep us in business. But there are other things that we strive toward so that that profit becomes a reality. And for some industries, it's click-throughs and it's website visits and it's first-time purchases. And other times it's repeat customers and average sale per customer, and wanting to maximize that. Your industry and your business is going to be a little bit different than everyone else in the room. Now, what Mary was talking about was what we call primary market research. That is the legwork that you do. And it can be great for answering specific questions, but it's very time, labor, and sometimes financially intensive. Or there's what they call secondary market research. And that's what someone else has done. You just have to go look it up. That's US Census Bureau information. That's information from the Small Business Administration. That's information available right here at the library. The upside is all you got to do is go find it. The downside is it may not answer the specific question that you're looking for. So I encourage you to find multiple sources, especially if you're doing a search online. Google and Bing and other search engines have actually gotten a lot better, where I will actually put some confidence in the results you get from web searches. However, 2 key things to keep in mind. When you've done your web search, scroll down past everything that says add and take at least 3 different resources. One, to make sure that the information corroborates itself. If one source says, oh, this answer is 19%, this one's 21, and this one's 20, those are all in a pretty tight grouping. If one says 45 and one says 89 and one says 2, something's a little bit off. Also, just like I said before about teams and perspectives and what we did with our skills exercise, is that you want to be able to find that outline piece of information that's really going to be valuable that the first source didn't have. And maybe the second one didn't either. But the third one, that's my jelly bean. That's my unicorn right there. That's what I needed. All right, but excellent question. I appreciate it. We're coming up on break time. Is there anything else I can answer or clarify about customer segments? Then we're going to come back after break and get a little bit deeper into channels. Anything I can answer or clarify?
that's not sound.
And it's been my voice for 40 straight minutes. It's gotta be sounding redundant at this point. All right, take a true 10. We're back at 8 minutes after in your seats, ready to roll. All right, little generic overarching feedback on the budgets. Here are a couple of things I saw that you guys might have been dinged on. And please, if you have questions, reach out to me or one of the mentors. Get a feel for what it is that might need a little bit of improving. This pitch is one thing. We're going to have 3 winners. There are 31 left in the field. That's 28 non-winners, and all 28 of you can still start and grow your business. So for more than just the pitch, please ensure you're doing what you need to fix the small things that need to be fixed. We are happy to help. All right, so I saw some of you have on your budget, you took out a bank loan, but then didn't account for making loan payments. That's going to be tough to work around. Some of you grossly underestimated your tax liability to the point that your tax percentage, you were paying like 0.5% in taxes. I promise you they're not that lenient. Some of you had negative profit, and that by itself is fine. This is an exercise to understand what might need to be shored up or what level of financing you might need. So it's okay if that was a negative number, so long as you understand that ultimately we want to make it a positive number. Here's another thing I saw. I saw massive startup costs with no sort of beginning cash. I'm not sure how you're going to pay for that. You didn't have an infusion of owner capital, you didn't take out a loan, but you had hundreds of thousands of dollars in startup costs. We need to find a way to pay for that. And then some of you, owner financing. Owner financing is when you purchase a business and the owner that you're purchasing it from carries a personal note and you pay them back directly. Essentially, they're funding part or all of the purchase and you're not getting a loan from a bank, you're basically getting a loan from the business owner who's selling it to you. There was just some bad math. Some of that stuff didn't add up. Like really didn't add up. Really. And then some of you mentioned a registered agent, and a registered agent can be beneficial. If you think you might want to use one, let me know. Through the SBDC, we've got one that offers a 50% discount. If you feel you want to use one. I'm not saying you have to, I'm not saying you have to use this one. I'm just saying if it's something you're considering anyway, let me know. And the SBDC has a solid hookup for you. All right, let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be graded on for the final pitch. We are 2 weeks away. 18 of you are going to be up on stage with 3 minutes to pitch your business. And here's what we're looking for. You effectively shared the business problem. Man, where have you seen that before? Effectively shared the business problem. Where have we heard that before? Oh man, there's a reason we did that. Yes, the problem through the lens of your customer. Remember those college classes and you're studying for the final and the prof would do that? Letting you know that it was going to be on the final? The problem through the lens of your customer. That be good. All right. Product or service information and how it solves the problem. The solution. Where did we see that before? Son of a gun. Who will buy it and why? Who is this? What part of Lean Canvas is this? Who is buying this? Your customer segment. It all comes back to your customer segment. Every question we have about everything, about our business, concerning everything, about all the stuff, comes down to our customer segment. All right, what's next? The potential impact of the prize, and I've had advising sessions to some of you, where unknowingly you gave me half your pitch. That's exactly what we want to be able to hear. The impact that this is going to make for you and for the city of Renton and your community and your customers. Your opportunity to grow or launch your business has far-reaching effects. It's not just you pursuing your dream and providing a lifestyle for you and your family. You are potentially going to hire employees and let them provide a lifestyle for their family. You are going to provide something of value in your community. You are going to serve your customers. And you're going to make a profit to the point that you are now going to donate and fund social activities in the city of Renton. I see entrepreneurs doing that all the time. That's one of the many reasons you are so vitally important and why what we're doing here is important to springboard you into that. Everyone in here is capable of that. We want to see that from you. So the impact. And then the idea is described in a way that is memorable. This is a little bit of the presentation. Content, and now some level of presentation that makes it memorable. Market yourself, market your business, market your idea. And this, I bet Sue can email this out or make it available in the drop-in. We'll cover that before we break tonight. Okay, so that's the presentation part as far as what winds up on your slides. Just a tip, don't read from your slide. That should be amplifying information, and you should understand what's on the slide enough that a cursory look, and then you face your audience again, and now you are continuing with your pitch without reading from the slide. Yes, sir.
There's a little tricky to make sure I have everything, so when we just double check. I think you said if I got it to work, I can double check. So effectively share business plan, like with the customer.
Business problem, business solution, customer segment, what's next, and the idea described in a way that is memorable. We also want to make sure that you're prepared and easy to understand. Okay, make it sound like you put some effort into this. Hold a story, and that is there's a narrative. There's a flow to it. You're not just regurgitating bullet points.
Is there a time limit?
3 minutes.
John, can you use your like index card to defer, back?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't. And then finally, there's some level of enthusiasm. I'm gonna hold individual questions till the very end. Some level of enthusiasm, let that come through. There are two main things, and I'm talking especially to the startups, but really for the established businesses, this applies as well. A lot of energy goes into this, right? A lot of energy goes into what you're doing. When you're starting or when you're growing, we're looking for two main things where I can say, as your right seater, it's probably safe to pull the trigger. One, we've done enough market and industry research that we feel this move is going to be sustainably profitable. Sustainably profitable, that's important. The second, you're excited about it. If you take a sustainably profitable business plan and put it into my hands and I have no interest in what that business is, it's not going to be successful because I'm not passionate about it. I have seen business owners who are super passionate and excited and start too early and burn out and not do it right. But if we combine those two things, if it can be sustainably profitable, and if you're excited, if you're raring to go, it doesn't guarantee you success, but man, what a great place from which you can start. Go that. Let the judges, let the audience of your peers see how excited you are about what you're doing. Sometimes, every once in a while, you can sell it on enthusiasm. Let that come out. All right, we're going to save individual questions until the end. You had a question that I wanted to make sure that we answered for everybody. So what was your question you asked me during break?
That I already have a business, a year-old business, and it started out good. I would say beginner's luck, and then we're doing good. We're getting some business. I want to grow it, make it more polished.
Okay.
And I asked Shawn that all this information, I really want to do it, but the moment I get back on my desk, I have so many pressing issues because it's a running business. I don't know how to give my time to what and when.
And that's what we're all gonna at some point be up against, right? You do I'm gonna review my weekly schedule Sunday nights. I'm gonna walk in Monday morning with some level of organization and boom, 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 I know what I'm gonna do, and you walk into an employee called out sick. A delivery vehicle is down. You lost a customer, at least somebody's super upset. There's always some level of damage control in you, and you damage control that one, and guess what's waiting tomorrow? We're waiting at after lunch. Another one. That is the glorious conundrum of entrepreneurship. It's this constant feeling of damage control. At some point, we have to prioritize what's going to build our business and what we're spinning our wheels on. And it's going to be different for everybody. And I hate to have this as an answer, but you just have to let some things go and prioritize what's going to grow your business. And sometimes we get stuck in this middle ground, and I experienced it. I was a financial advisor. I was a one-person operation, and I was in that spot where I couldn't grow because I didn't have enough funding to do the marketing and hire staff and do the things to create more revenue. But I couldn't create more revenue until I had the thing I needed the revenue to create one of these. Okay, so I had to get to the point where I'm like, look, I'm either going to do this or I'm not. Take out a small business loan or bring on a partner, however it is that you can acquire your funding. Or now, it may not be funding. There are 4 resources any entrepreneur has access to. One is money. And ultimately, we want to transform all the other 3 resources into money, which is time, human capital, and our own fortitude. So whatever 1 or 2 or 3 or all of those you need to apply to take that next step, find it, do it, bite the bullet, and believe in yourself enough to take that next step. Or you might be perfectly content. You might be profitable right as you are. I don't need to get any bigger. I don't need to bring on new clients. Probably need to bring on one or two every once in a while just to make up for attrition. But there's no reason that you can't just operate right where you're comfortable, right where you've been profitable. If you're doing what you need to do, your customers are happy and you've got a good lifestyle and you're accounting for all of your costs, you're putting into retirement, you're paying your employees and taking care of them, you got a little bit of a contingency fund, just do what you do. Just enjoy it. That's okay. But if you're trying to take that next step or that next couple of steps, you've got to get rid of the stuff that's just wasting your time. And you got to be able to focus. One, you have to realize what are the things that I must focus on, and then you have to focus on the things. And that's really what it boils down to a lot of the time. I see entrepreneurs who understand, okay, I got to do these things. Okay, I just don't want to yet. Okay, that's all right. But understand, you're not going to get to that next level just by dreaming about it. And I'm not trying, this isn't hard love, Shawn. This isn't me trying to tell everyone not to pursue what you're pursuing. I'm proud of everybody in this room. I'm saying this is the easy part. And sometimes you gotta be like, okay, I gotta make some changes and it's gonna suck for a little bit, but this is what I'm ambitioning for. I have a vision that is bigger than this. And this is what I need to do to accomplish that. Okay, we're gonna save questions to the end. I want to come back. Let's talk a little bit more about channels. This is the last 15 minutes we're going to spend together. All right.
Before we do it, so for the PowerPoint, you can already 5 slides.
I'm going to save all individual questions till the end. All right, so let's get back into channels. This is what we're here for tonight. We talked about customer segments. Now we have to align those customer segments to proper channels. So somebody share with the group an example of who your customer segment is. Yes, sir.
I have a customer segment where I talk to insurance companies, health insurance companies that end up selling my service to specialty clinics that end up using my service with their patients. So I say, hey, insurance company A, I have some services. You can talk to clients A through Z, and they can use my stuff for you. I try to use my
Okay, so can you describe the insurance companies in terms of demographics, size, geography,
No, sir.
types of insurance companies?
Not yet.
Okay, who has a customer segment that they can define so that we can start aligning? Yes, sir.
Baby boomers.
Baby boomers, okay. So is it just the age demographic or is there more to that customer segment besides probably? Do you charge for your service?
Yes.
So they have to be able to afford it. All right, so let's talk about some other demographics that are going to be key for your customer segment. What are those other demographics?
Computer savvy,
What's that?
being able to use a computer.
Okay, so some level of technological understanding, some income level, call it 6 figures, just for the sake of round numbers. And baby boomers, so that is over the age of 55. Okay, what else? Male or female?
Awesome.
Who's gonna make the decision in the family?
Only often the women.
Okay, do you see how we're beginning to describe your customer segment and she is beginning to take shape? Now, if a man wants to subscribe to your service and can use what you have from the telephone,
Yes.
absolutely. But is that gonna be smaller than half or a smaller percentage of your overall customer segment?
Most likely.
Most likely. So let's focus on that 80%. Okay, so if you're talking about technologically savvy, baby boomer females with discretionary income, what channels, and I'm opening this up to the entire room, what channels might be appropriate, or what channels do we think that's not gonna work? I will take random answers.
Skywriting.
Okay, who said skywriting?
I said it won't work.
It won't work, okay, why not?
You're getting. That's probably school. I probably know how many slides my presentation has to have.
Okay, why won't skywriting work?
It's too general.
It's too general.
Radio will, but LinkedIn will.
Okay, why?
Because radio is an older technology, more approachable, and a baby boomer presumably is, in the retiree category, so they're less likely to be engaged with LinkedIn, which is geared towards professionals.
Son of a gun. You're taking what I've been sharing
I'll take your time.
and you're using it. All right, so excellent job. Did we all follow her logic and how this isn't gonna fit the baby boomer generation, but this is? Okay, does anything else jump off the slide as, yeah, that could fit, or you know what, that's gonna be a no-go?
Big time. Will
Okay.
not work.
Right? Because why?
I don't even know what TikTok is. I'm close to baby.
That is an awesome answer. One, transparent and honest, and two, spot on. Your age demographic isn't familiar with TikTok. Your age demographic isn't gonna be on it. So Brad, you're probably not gonna advertise there. As cool of things as you could create on TikTok for what you do, that's not what your customer segment is. Unless you capture their grandchildren and get them to say to grandma and grandpa, you need to create this living time capsule. Okay, who else? Yes, ma'am.
No, I was just gonna say, but what about the older generation that does, or that are on TikTok though?
There's way less of those than.
Okay, remember what we said about managing the tree, not the fruit on the tree?
Yeah.
And not trying to get 100% of everyone who could be a customer, but focusing on that 80%. Okay, like Nike selling to everyday athletes, not marketing to shoe collectors. Okay. Yes, sir.
So I feel like grocery carts, posters and telephone poles, gas pumps, elevators, all these, radio probably, as someone said, would help them more because that's how they have been lived their life, and that would attract them the most because that's how their brain is trained over all the last 50 years. And that would grab their attention first, rather than even if they know LinkedIn or something like that, their mind is gonna, it's like used to doing that for the last 35 years, and that's where I would go, especially when I don't have work now.
Yeah, just out of habit or familiarity, there are gonna be some channels that baby boomers are gonna gravitate toward. And again, we have to make sure that we don't act as our own customer segment. And assume that who we're selling to is gonna make decisions the exact same way we are. Yes, ma'am.
I don't see emails up there. Like newsletters?
True.
I mean, I would think that's kind of a across the board,
Okay,
right?
this slide was making 45 seconds and this was just a brainstorming dump. Yeah, this is not an all-inclusive list.
Okay.
We could brainstorm another 3 slides worth of channels, and you're right. Now, who would an email newsletter be appropriate for? What type of customer or what type of demographic would be on the receiving end of an email newsletter effectively?
People who like to print online. I mean, there's a portion of the demographic for that, because a lot of people still like to read, I do, print or online, but, I would think that maybe the millennials might be more in that category.
Okay. In my experience, what I've observed is millennials are the first generation to be dismissive of things that pop up in their inbox. Now, it does satisfy Brad's customer segment in that they're technologically savvy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But how do you get the email to have someone be added to your email newsletter list? You've got to collect that from somewhere, right? So there's got to be some level of engagement first. So it's something like on Twitter or on Instagram or wherever else, and there's this post where on social media marketing, the equation is give, ask, provide something of value. Don't say what you do. Don't say what your price point is. Don't sell them anything. Give, create credibility, create value, then make an offer. And the offer has got to have a couple of key components. One is a call to action with an expiration date and something of value. Hey, everybody. I've been talking about pet bereavement for the last couple weeks. This is actually something, if you have experienced this, we can make custom pet memorials. Go to our website and enter this promotional code for 15% off, but do it by Friday, April 14th. If I have a coupon for a free Slurpee that never expires, I know I can carry it around in my pocket forever and pop in anytime I want. But if it expires tomorrow, that moves me to visit 7-Eleven with purpose a heck of a lot sooner. So all of your offers have to have an expiration date to drive them to action. And then they visit your site, they enter that promotional code, you know that they heard about it on Twitter. You collect their email address so that you can add them to their newsletter list. And they ever see the 15% off coupon to buy what you sell. We call that a sales funnel. Yes, sir.
I'm thinking about offers, maybe some, like a sales tactic or something like that. An exchange where I say I have 10% off my discount, but in exchange for that discount, I need some type of connection. Yes, I'm giving you my product, but like email, like some type of additional contact so I can continue to feed you my services.
Absolutely, you get that first. And I see this a lot with food service businesses. It's the, I want to get market share, I want to get my name out, so I'm just gonna give everything away at half off. And the person comes to your counter and like, oh, your boba tea is so cheap, this is great. Hey, fantastic, we appreciate you. You get us on the back end, write a Yelp review or a Google review or whatever else. Like, hey, yeah, sure, I will. And then they leave your store and what happens? Nothing. Because they're rotten people, right? Rotten people. No. They value your product. They are there for a reason. Sure, some might be shopping on price. They leave your store, and guess what? The top 100 things on their to-do list for the rest of the day and the rest of the week doesn't include building your business for you. Get the review first. One, you've undervalued your product and you've gotten people accustomed to having it cheap. That's a no-no. Sell at regular price. But give some sort of offer. After you write the 5-star review, after you give us a social media mention, after you tag, after whatever the ask is, then we will give you 50% off your very next order. Get the deliverable first, then. Otherwise, I see businesses, not just food service, but lots of businesses continuing to give stuff away. And it's not because their customers aren't appreciative, it's not because they're not great people. Life happens, and now they have to tend to all the other things that they have to deal with through the course of the day. All right, what else can I answer about channels? Yes, sir.
Is there on the website around that you can plug in like, here's my demographic, here's this, and not the tops, it's this, here's this, like, oh,
No. That, now, here's the thing, rule 1 in real estate, location, location, location. Rule 1 in business, find a need and fill it. So if anyone wants to do that for their business idea, I think that's right for the pick. That is compile all of this demographic information and then align through a website or a portal or an app. Hey, these are the 6 marketing channels you need to be on based on who your customer segment is. For now, we got to do it the old fashioned way. Not necessarily with the number 2 pencil on the legal pad, but you got to come into the library, look up all the information they have about, in fact, some library systems actually have avatars created where they have sample customer segments created with all the demographic information filled out. 30, 40, 50 of them. And then you can choose the ones that you think best fit. They're already created. I know Everett does it. I don't know if KCLS does it. But come in and ask. We are right now inside the 4 walls of a great resource for all small business owners, and it goes underutilized. Grossly so. And then, given what you learn about different marketing channels, social media to print, to something that's static, to something that's active, you are going to choose, and you're not going to get it right. Spoiler alert, that's what happens. But you measure the feedback along the way. Like, okay, these are the three I tried, and this is the one that was actually best. This one was serviceable, this one didn't work. Guess what? We stopped using the one that didn't work, then we tried something else. And next year, as the next season rolls around and we try the 4 marketing channels that we have dialed in, guess what? Consumer sentiment has already changed. It is an ongoing process. Ongoing. And the more you can automate and the more you can outsource collecting and interpreting that data and have it available to you to make good business decisions, the faster and more effectively you will grow. Yes, sir.
What about industry events like the garden show or
Okay.
the cider fest or the beer festival?
Ready?
Would those be channels or would they be something else?
Absolutely. And here's my answer. It depends. Now, here's what it depends on. And I love things like trade shows because it's one of the few places that you can put yourself in front of your customer segment and your competition and have them together in the exact same spot. And there is a ton of market and competitive analysis that can be conducted there. A heck of an investment, both financially and time-wise, but oftentimes for certain industries, invaluable. It depends. All right. If you have specific customer segment questions, I will happily answer those one-on-one. I'll put my contact information up there so you guys can reach out to me. Yes, there's a registration process that you have to follow. It is brief, I promise, and it's a necessity because we're federally funded. Okay, now that that's out of the way, what can I answer about anything else we've covered tonight, including pitch criteria and slide deck criteria? Yes, sir. Alicia, you're not a sir.
I was like. What do you think competition? Will the analysts only be listening? Will they have a Q&A?
Not a Q&A. And here's the thing, in the military, we say train how you fight, fight how you train. So this is a little bit supposed to mimic the entrepreneurial process. Your business plan, once you have written it, it is not a Q&A session. It is not a dialogue. It's not a product demonstration. It's not an invitation to sit down over coffee. It is your marketing and communication piece that has to get everything that's up here on paper and communicate in one direction. And that's what we're having this pitch competition mimic. There's no Q&A. It is your slide deck, your best, most charismatic 3 minutes. And that's what you're going to be graded on. Excellent question. I think the same question. Okay. Thank you.
For this, the audience.
He's trying to build a theater. So he's given away 150 tickets and the ones you have tonight. Probably people from here tonight from the city of Renton. The mayor is speaking.
Who are we directing this slide show to? That's what I'm hearing. Who are we supposed to be or, like, are we trying to persuade an investor? Because it's one way.
So follow the pitch criteria and you are speaking to the judges. You're always briefing the highest ranking person in the room.
Do you know anything about their backgrounds?
Doesn't matter. You're not,
They don't need.
you're not tailoring it to the judges. Your merit is what they're gonna grade you in your presentation. So you couple content presentation wrapped around your business concept or your business model, and that's what you pitch.
And you will find, I'll be sending out an email with 3 judges.
Say that the admin that then we have the opportunity to vote for one account.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's gonna be a people's choice, audience choice. So there'll be a poll on the screen at the last break and the audience will vote their choice. Not the judges. The judges will vote the first 3 first placements, 1 in each category.
But you're not pitching the audience. You are pitching the panel of judges.
Judges.
You're always briefing the highest ranking person in the room. Okay, let's come over here. Yes, ma'am.
So with that question, so the audience is only doing one or all 3 categories?
Just the one they like the best out of all of the presenters.
And how many judges?
3.
What are their names?
Yeah.
Company makes me say it.
So there's a question for number of slides, cap at 5. All right, number of slides, cap at 5.
Not including your title slide.
Yes, sir, Paul.
Are those 5 slides animated?
Whatever you choose, slide. Yeah. Comment?
No.
You gotta be careful how much animation you put in there.
They're being judged, are they being judged like PowerPoint, or are they being judged like?
Your pitch. So is the criteria available to the competitors at any point between now and April 18th? The list that I read to them, is that available in print?
Well, yes, I was gonna send that out and hand it out, but you were making some modifications, so are we using?
6 points that you said.
Yeah,
8.
Yeah,
So eight
Yeah.
total points, 5 on content, 3 on preparation.
right,
I'm just gonna add to the rubric so the judges have something a little bit more solid to grade
okay,
on.
so I can send it.
The actual
I'll send it
criteria
out.
will remain unchanged, so
Okay.
you guys will have it.
And the one you got tonight is for the PowerPoint you're turning into me on the 15th.
Where's the criteria at?
Or which one?
It's the one in the
Shane
handout.
that's in there.
Holding it.
Yeah,
This is visual part.
yeah,
So there's two different PowerPoints?
no, it's the same PowerPoint.
So what
We're
was your-
reviewing it before you got your. We're reviewing your PowerPoint.
And then you guys might have it.
Yes, and we have to queue it up in the creators, so we need to get it there.
13, but by the 13th at 5 o'clock?
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna speak to Paul's question ever so briefly. He said, hey, can we have animation? Can we go above and beyond? Like, I really wanna make this pop. Yes, you can do that. There is a risk in how much you want it to pop. Okay, so one, you have to understand your audience. You're pitching to 3 judges. Are they going to appreciate that? They may very well. And then there's an over the top threshold where it's no longer, that's innovative, that's fresh, that captured our attention. This is just a clown dropping juggling balls. Okay? There's a way that I can make this work because I'm not wearing gigantic olive oil clown shoes and a nose and a wig. There's this part that works, but I don't take it to the point that, why on earth did he do that? Or that's too much. I am perfectly comfortable right like this, but I would not take it past this. Your comfort level with your business and how you want to present it and represent it is going to be what drives your pitch on April 18th. So I encourage you to find that limit that you think is best for you. If you're not accustomed to public speaking, you should probably keep it a little bit more polished and treat it like a college presentation. If you have done a lot of public speaking and you're perfectly comfortable, you're like, hey, I'm gonna let my charisma shine through, then do that. Let us see what's behind this business idea and the person behind it and the level of passion and energy you're gonna bring to this. That's what we want to see. Yes, ma'am.
We see a time control that somebody can show you 10 seconds, or you will have a microphone when you 3 minutes. Or is it flexible to pass a little and ready to know?
Am I gonna be flexible?
No,
At 2 minutes and 59 seconds, I'm gonna sound an air horn and I'm gonna come up with a broom. We're gonna give you at 30 seconds. You should have practiced your presentation enough that your 3-minute presentation does not run 3:15, 3:30, 5 minutes.
You'll get a 0, and then you're.
yeah, that's.
Mary, and
I just wondering if we're gonna have a rehearsal. Like,
Let's do the slides or.
Well, that's what the drop-in is kind of like, next Tuesday. We come in and, you know, we'll have some people here, if you wanna do it in front of an audience, you could do that. But other than that, once we get your PowerPoint presentation, it's gonna be sent to the theater, it's gonna be queued up on their computer. And
Only. So we're not in charge of queuing it up and all that.
no, I'm gonna do a random name generator. So no, whoever comes up is gonna be first.
So can you have like an assistant going up on your team and be there with you just to, you know, maybe, I don't know, anything for support or just, you know, some.
One presenter, one presenter, no assistant.
Just you.
Just you.
I just have a question on the side of the presentation, is because the PowerPoint has two sizes, one is like a short screen and one's like a wide screen. Is there a preference on the presentation that like slide that?
No idea, I've never seen that. The standard size. Wait.
So just confirm, so we turn in on the 13th. That's it, like, there's no.
Yep.
Anything else, like, that's the final copy.
It should be presentation ready,
What time is
Okay.
the drop-in?
and that's what we're going to be grading on. Is it presentation ready? Are there typos in there? Is the grammar bad? Does it not make sense? I mean, are you using purple and green together?
It works.
Deal. That type of thing, you know? Can I just say a couple of things before we run out of time?
Yeah.
So I was, there was a sign up sheet I was passing around. Does somebody have it? Did everybody get a chance to sign up for next Tuesday? Okay, so we only have, oh, there's another page.
Thank you, Mary.
We're in trouble now. Okay, so I wanted to say that, so I talked to Shawn and we are going to wait the final 18, meaning we're gonna have 4 in the established category, 7 in the early, and 7 in, the startup. Okay? Because there's more in some categories than others, so we just don't wanna take the top 18 by score.
Right.
The other thing is, if anyone feels comfortable sharing their contact information, send me an email and let me know, and then I will distribute a list to everyone, okay? Then again, complete your feedback form before you leave tonight. I am reading them, we will take that into consideration the next time we do a pitch competition. Keep in mind, I put this together virtually myself in 2 months, and I think we got a great turnout. That worked this, the library provided the space for free, I work for free, Shawn is working for free, Vanessa doesn't get paid. So
Wait, back up.
Thank you so much.
What? I am?
I guess I'm paying you then, Shawn.
He's amazing, like, that's truly amazing, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
4 established, 7 startup, and 7 early. There's currently 31 people still remaining in the competition. And this is how we're gonna get down to the 18 by reviewing your PowerPoint presentation, just the visual part. And those 18 then will pitch at the final competition.
Slide deck and notes.
Yes, make sure you include notes because bullet points may mean nothing to us in reviewing it. So we want to kind of have an idea of what you're talking about. Okay.
Is there any? in that?
A summary of that page, or whatever it is, so that we understand the slide you're giving us.
Can I take the question?
Keep your notes as notes.
Yeah,
The judges don't want to refer to some external or later source. They want to see the notes, applies to slide 1, slide 2, 3, 4, 5. Written in Dothraki preferably. Brad, really again?
Do you mean the notes inside the house?
Yes.
So you put notes.
yes, whatever describes that slide or your talking points or whatever it is, so when we see 3 bullet points. We're gonna know what you're gonna talk about, otherwise we have no way to judge what we're looking at.
Alicia?
Right, on the 11th for the drop-in, will our slides be on the screen?
But you don't have them,
That was gonna be my.
so you'll have to either send them to me or bring it on the thumb drive. And I think a good thing might be is, we won't have enough time for all of you, and I didn't real time for the second side here. But I think you're gonna be pitching to whoever is attending. I mean, that'll give you good practice, and they can provide you with feedback. Yeah, yes, sir.
So just real quick, so the slides, the 5 slides, the notes are the notes of what you are going to say. at your
Basically,
present-
yes.
Verbatim.
Well, it doesn't have to be verbatim.
But
It's
it
just
could
so-
be.
Yes, it could be.
Okay.
And remember, 5 slides, 3 minutes, you're not gonna be able to say a ton, you need it concise.
Wayne?
Is this about the size